I'm Matt Yost, and this is Grant Carden. We're Extension Specialists with Utah State University Extension. Today we're going to talk about measuring and building soil health. Grant, what is soil health, and why are we hearing so much about it?
Well, soil health is overall kind of defined as being able to keep a soil system as a plant growth medium serving and functioning as it should over long term without any degradation, not only to the productivity of that particular site, but to off-site areas in the environment in general. It's interesting that soil quality and soil health have often been used interchangeably, but the current feel and discussions revolve around health, because we want to emphasize the fact that this is a living system and something that needs to be fed and protected and built over time to function the way that it should in the natural environment. There's a lot of national and international attention now being given to soil health, both through the USDA Soil Health Division that's been recently formed, and the Soil Health Institute, which is a nonprofit organization that works not only in the U.S. but all over the world and other things to try to promote practices that sustain productivity on a given site without damaging the environment. So with that concept in mind, what are some of the things, Matt, that can deteriorate soil health over time?
Thanks, Grant. As we think about soil health, it's really important to remember that there are lots of properties of the soil and its health that we can't change, right? This soil has been forming for thousands, in case millions of years, and there's some inherent properties about the soil that we're never going to change, and those properties really impact its health. A few examples of those are the parent material of our particular soil, or the soil texture, or its hydrology, and some other things, and it's important to realize that we just can't change those things. But it's equally important to realize that there's lots of things that we can change about the soil, and that can change rapidly. And those are the things I think that we're most interested in. So things that we do to our soils that might cause erosion, might cause a loss of soil structure. Tillage can do that, other things. Things that cause our soils to lose organic matter or to increase in salinity. Those are really things that can deteriorate or diminish the health of our soil. And sometimes they can happen really fast and in dramatic ways if we're not careful about how we manage our soils. So there are quite a few things that make soils less healthy. And so it's important to talk about what makes them more healthy and how we can improve that health. So Grant, what are some things that make soils healthier?
Oh, good question. I think as we look at the things you just mentioned that can deteriorate things rapidly, we want to make sure we're protecting against things like erosion, aggregate degradation, and things like that. Because it is a living system, there's a lot of microbes and soil fauna that really function to help cycle nutrients and cycle organic materials and so forth in soils. We need to feed them, we need to protect them, we need to promote their function and diversity. And so if we look at some of the basic things that we can do to improve that, because we're looking at it as a living system, we want to feed that system. Organic materials are some of the primary foods or feed for that living system. And so we want to make sure we're building organic matter over time. That's really a key to this, and because of that, as we put additional organic material, or we maintain organic matter that's already there, and we use it to advantage in systems, we can not only feed the microbes that are doing that function of cycling that material and nutrients and so forth back to the system, but they also, in terms of breaking that organic matter down, provide the building blocks for things like soil structure and improvement of aggregate stability over time, and those kinds of things. So the basic soil or management principles that we would promote to accomplish that is things like adding additional organic matter regularly where we can in our agricultural practices. That might be compost applications, manure applications, and so forth. Making sure that we're not only putting additional food back into the system for the living part of the soil, but we're providing the building blocks for that soil structure and long-term aggregate stability. Other things that we can do would maybe to minimize tillage in our agricultural practices. Tillage helps us in a lot of ways, incorporating things and improving the seed bed and so forth. But we can do too much of it, which can cause more rapid decomposition of the organic matter that's stored there, and cause a reduction in that over time. It can also, because it's mechanical and they get mechanical energy, we can get aggregate breakdown, and those aggregates take quite a long time to form and to build. So we're looking at things like minimum tillage or no tillage, conservation tillage practices, that we maintain residues there that can be cycled back into the system too and provide additional organic matter. We want to make sure that we're careful about our water management so we don't get some of the erosion or salinity buildup that you talked about earlier, and that's an important aspect of that. So there's a lot of different things that we can do, particularly maintaining organic matter, building that over time if we can, allowing for the feeding of the living part of the system as well as the cycling of the nutrients, and just overall building and then protecting soil aggregates and their stability over time.